over the years of my professional life, I think I've mellowed out considerably. Certainly over the past couple of years. Absolutely, certainly since I changed roles. Even though there's been, as you may have gathered from a number of previous videos, difficulties. However, what I want to talk about today is perhaps my own perception of myself and how I do things, and through that, my expectations of other people and my disappointment generally in the majority of folk. Not necessarily the people that I work with at all, that's not what I'm saying, but I mean in general, people's ability to avoid effort seems to be increasingly evident in my work life and my personal life. The reward versus effort mentality is almost completely devoid of existing in a number of people. I feel that may not be the case, but from my experience, which is the only thing I can talk about, that is the case. A case in point, over the past X amount of time, let's say arbitrarily, a year, I should have achieved considerably more than I have achieved inside of that year. Now, has that been a negative to me personally? Absolutely not. In that year, there has been a significant amount of change in my professional life. And the way that I've done stuff is considerably different to what I was doing before. Now, that's to say, not to say that what I was doing before was wrong. However, previously, it was very difficult to do anything the right way because of upper management in situations. Because people are stuck in the ways they didn't want to put in the effort. They see the risk versus reward is not feasible from their perspective to their end goals. This is in fact wrong. Now, starting in my new role, and thankfully having support of people that have worked external to a public sector employer previously, there is much more of a get it done mentality. Let's do it the right way, let's have efficiencies, processes, workflows, all of these things. All of these things make me happy because they're sensible. I'm functionally not a lazy person. However, if I can be lazy, I will be lazy, and that requires a significant amount of effort. And that is fine. Much like we've talked about before with software development as an example. Using frameworks, using shortcuts, using weekly type languages is absolutely fine, so long as you know how to get around things and do things the right way from fundamental principles. In the first instance, having that foundational understanding of anything is critical. That's what we've talked about recently, isn't it? Now, as I say, people being lazy is fine. If you can do things the right way, you've got to put in the effort in the first instance, and that's what I feel like I've been trying to do for the past year. And even though we've progressed a huge way forward, it's nowhere near as progressed as I would have liked. And that's because it's been inefficient. We could have done things faster, but I've had to wait for people to catch up. Because people are lazy, they didn't want to put in that front-loaded effort. Instead, they'd rather complain about things. Not just through work, through, again, personal life, even through a hobby life. People complaining that they don't want to paint their army, yet they want to play the game, but they want a well-painted army. I'll just pay somebody to do it. Or, you could have the reward of doing it yourself. You're trying to paint, you're not, you need to put in the effort to get better at painting and to paint faster to a higher level of quality that you're happy with. You need to be practicing. You can't just get DLC for that. You can't not put in the reps. Same with the management side of things. I don't particularly enjoy management. I don't enjoy people management, that's not true. People management, I don't enjoy because of all the issues we talked about. People are lazy. They're an uncontrollable commodity. People versus processes are very, very hard to align correctly with all the best intention, all of the understanding and the will in the world. You can build a process that is robust, bulletproof, but if a person isn't going to follow that process, then the process is going to fail. Not because it's a bad process, but because it's a bad person. And this is where the people management aspect comes in. If you're going to allow people to not follow the processes that you've put in place to get to a certain level of efficiency, a certain level of output, then it's not the people that are bad, it's you as a manager. And this is where I'm struggling at the moment, because I've got processes in place. I've got wider processes, wider workflows. I've got standard operating procedures in place for everything that I do and that touches me, because it affects me. And we need that to be adopted more widely, and it is. However, what's not being done is making people fall in line. I'm a big fan of giving people freedom. In my previous life, in my old role, I was a huge proponent of giving my team the freedom to develop in the tools that they felt most comfortable in, so long as the outputs were met, so long as the milestones were met, so long as the process, the wider process to get to the end point was followed. I didn't have to be overly prescriptive with the IDE they used, for instance. And that paid dividends in the fact that I was able to work with a team of absolutely amazingly talented developers, and we did glorious things together. That approach was very situational. Obviously there was processes in place. Sometimes those processes were actually hidden from the people using the processes, because as a manager I can see, annoyingly, this is something that I've learned to identify myself over the years. I can see the people that respond better to processes than those that don't. Now, that's something that you learn through experience. You can't have a process to do that, can you? It's tacit knowledge that you build up over time from exposure to people. The problem now is we've got a number of different managers with so many different approaches, and we've tried a number of ways, and I've taken quite a backseat in this. And I suppose now everything else has failed. Now we're going to do it the way that we should have done it in the first instance, and that's hopefully going to help us progress significantly. Some people are on board with that, some people are more resistant to it, and the people that will be working inside of those processes don't really have a say at this point, and that's how it needs to be. There needs to be that level of understanding between the people working inside of a framework, a process, a SOP, there, where they accept that this is what they need to do. Setting the clear boundaries to get to the end goals. Same thing in my personal life when we're talking about the gaming situations. If you want to get to an end point, you have to have the structure. If you're not going to have the structure, then stop whinging about it. And from yesterday's video, and other videos, we've noticed that I've got a significant amount of frustration with certain things. Certain people have not been able to do that. I like to be able to trust a number of people just to crack on with stuff. I like to surround myself with people that make me better, and I can make them better. And there's a synergy. This is where I'm struggling, or I think I'm going to struggle now. I feel I'm more in the driving seat of making this happen, and I have no problems in doing that. I've had a recent experience with an academic who doesn't acknowledge perhaps that I'm an academic also, though I don't flaunt it in that respect. And he needed to be told. It's like, you know, the argument was, I don't see the point in doing it this way. Well, the reasons are X, Y, Z. Now that doesn't work because you didn't follow the process. In this specific case, use the template that allowed macros to run to extract data, to move the data around different systems, which caused me work. That ain't gonna fly for me. I was happy to tell this dude that, and he will use that process. You know, it might kick back, and that's absolutely fine. If he kicks back and wants to argue about it, I have a number of counter arguments to this gentleman's I don't see the point. It's like, well, consistency is one point. The values and larger strategic direction of the institution is efficiency increase, and this leads to that. So I can categorically show the time differential between the method that he couldn't be bothered using compared to the one that's actually taken me to get the data out of the documents that he's given me into the other system. So, you know, I've got a big old stick of data to beat this dude with, and I'm happy to do that. So he will fall in line, or I'll talk to his boss, dean of school, whatever, and they'll deal with it. And it may be that, you know, eventually it comes around, and if he doesn't, that's fine. He doesn't have to like me. In fact, he told me to my face, I don't like you, and I'm absolutely cool with that. I don't really care whether you like me or not. The fact is, in this situation, this is more efficient, this is right, it's the correct way that we are going to do it. And that's a little bit different to what I have had before in my professional life, I suppose. In my personal life, it's less different because, but you know, I'm friends with somebody, that's fine. If you don't like me, I don't have to be friends with you. If I don't like you, I don't have to be friends with you. It's cool. Professionally, certainly where I've been, because I've been here for so long, perhaps have something of a reputation, that I get stuff done, and I do. Doesn't mean you have to like me, I don't really care. In the previous role that I had in the same institution, it got to the point where I couldn't have these blunt conversations with colleagues because I didn't have the support further up the food chain. You know, people were still writing on notepads and doing stupid stuff with content, putting them in Word documents and then having them go to people, and then those people then taking the content of the Word document and putting it on the internet. It's like, why just not have a data source in the first instance? This is stupid, but whatever, I'm not going to rant about that. Now I have the support of people and I can work in this way. It's a little bit alien to me, I suppose, to have the freedom to do that. And I suppose it's me figuring out myself now. Just talking it through is helping. That I suppose I need to have a way of visualizing this for colleagues, rather than I'm just saying I'm right. I'm not saying that, or like say I have data to support what I put in place. But now I need something shiny, don't I, to get those people in, something that's a little bit softer, rather than like the sharpness of just having empirical data. I need something that's going to give them a warm, glowing feeling and make them feel wanted and needed, and all the other stupid stuff that we have to do to make people realise that, you know, I don't really care if you're in a happy place or not. I just need you to do your job. Yeah. So this is one for me to figure out. It's good. Thank you for listening. I definitely needed to work this one out. And that's not to say I'm not empathetic towards colleagues or team members. Towards team members, I'm absolutely empathetic. I will bend over backwards for my team. Other people, not so much. I don't really care. I just need you to give me what I want. And it irks me, I suppose, that the answer is some people just need to be mollycoddled and like, you're doing really well. It's just do it. Like, look, you take you 5 hours, now it takes you 20 minutes. This is better for everybody involved. You can do more in less time. Everybody's happy. Right, okay, I've talked way too long on this one. I'm good. I think I know what I need to do. Now. Cool. Nice one. Have a good day. Don't murder anybody. And I wonder if I'm more aggressive because I've got toothache still. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Have a good one.